Happy Friday. It's time for our numbers video for the VO Marketing Pro Group, for my numbers and for your numbers. As you can see, we're in a different studio once again. This is going to be, at least at this point, this is going to be our studio. If it doesn't seem to go that well, maybe we'll be doing it in our actual studios like we had been, just because it might look a little bit better. I don't know. We haven't made a decision yet, but we won't be in our original studio, which is kind of a demotion. Usually you go from a worse studio to a better studio, usually. And at this point, we went from a nice studio to now we're in the basement. So anyway.
This is our interim studio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either our interim look studio or maybe our interim studio or maybe whatever. We don't know for sure.
You have to bear with us. Anyway, if you're new to this channel, this is where we do our numbers. We talk about our jobs. We talk about some things during the week. And we also have a group that we market for, direct email marketing for voiceover talents, like my dad and I. We've been doing these videos for a couple of years now, and so you can go back and see me basically, what would it be? My first full year, after my first full year, we started doing videos, just so it wasn't so embarrassing for me. There were some embarrassing moments. So you can go back and check those out. But we've been following Dad's business too for the last couple of years and how his numbers have looked. So anyway, you can check out those. But we're going to go over our numbers here, and also we're going to go over the VOMP team numbers. So anyway, I'm going to go over the VOMP numbers. Johnny's not here. We haven't found a spot for him down here in the room at this point. So we're still working on that.
But to stand right here.
Yeah, right in the middle. It'll be really close quarters. Anyway, for the VO Marketing Pro Group, we got 24 warm responses this week, 2 auditions, and 7 jobs were reported. So this is always what's reported. That it's possible that some people were busy. They couldn't report their numbers at this point, and sometimes they do it at a later date. But that's what the people who are usually pretty good at reporting get theirs in each week. So anyway, there might be more jobs, more auditions than that. But at this point, there were 7 jobs reported. So Deanna Johnston with a recurring client, Mike Stout with a recurring client, Noel Romano with a recurring client, Bill DeWeese times 3. He had 3 jobs. I had a recurring client this week, which was very nice. And then you said you had a new client, correct?
Yep, I do. But we always say this, that because I've been doing this a long time, and almost all of my direct email marketing numbers that I'll give here are recurring clients. I don't go through and say I had 13 recurring clients this week. I just report the new ones, brand new ones. And I did have a brand new one this week.
Nice. What was I going to say? There was something I was going to say.
Something brilliant.
Yeah, probably. We give our numbers and we talk about the VO Marketing Pro numbers, one, because it's a transparency thing for the people who are paying us to send out emails so that they know that that's actually happening. But also because, like I said in our Todd's Tips, and if you've been part of this channel and watching this for a while, you know that we give this spiel all the time. But there's a lot of talking heads out there. There's a lot of coaches. There's a lot of people who have microphones and stuff like that, and they don't give their numbers. And so they talk about all these things they do, and I do really well in this, and and they give lots of advice, but I don't know if that's a charade or not. It would be nice to know what their numbers are. And so that's why we give our numbers, because we want to have that badge of honor that says, hey, this is what I'm doing and this works. And here's the proof in how much I've made. Dad, the last 9 years making 6 figures in voiceover alone, the last, 4 have been over 300,000. That's something you can grab onto and say, oh, that whatever he's doing seems to work. Now, is there going to be some, what do you call it? Is it going to be a little bit different from my situation? Maybe. Yeah, that's obvious. But anyway, that's just why we do it, is because we want to be crystal clear with what we're doing. So that's why we give our numbers. Anyway, I'll give my numbers. This week I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jobs, and I didn't total up my numbers. This happens all the time to me. I'm sorry. 63 plus 67.50. 50. Bear with me, please.
Hudson is trying to make $80,000. He set a very high goal. Last year, he just made $45,000. So he's trying to almost double that, which we talked about that, early in actually late last year. We talked about whether that was a wise thing to do. And it's important to have a carrot out there. But what I keep talking with him about is have as your goal an upward trajectory. Make sure you're making more than you did last year. And if you fall a little bit short, fine. If you get a little bit over, that's great. But doubling your income is a pretty good trick. And we know by the NAVA survey, the 2024 NAVA survey, that 75% of people made $50,000 or less per year. And so if he can make in voiceover, if he can make $50,000, he's in the 25 percentile. Not that you'd want to stay there, because that's not even a living wage. So anyway, now you got your total.
Here's my numbers. Sorry for that. Thanks for killing some time once again. I got to get better at that. I had 2 warm responses this week from direct marketing. I will talk about what I did this week. I talked about it in some fireside chats, but during the VOMP Plus in-depth deep dive numbers, I'll tell them kind of some ways I tried to use some ingenuity to get some more emails out there and such. But I had 2 auditions. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 jobs that I did this week. I did, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on 5 on Upwork or 7 on Upwork with 7 on Upwork with a revision that I got paid for. I had one direct email marketing job that we talked about. That was $300. And then I had $40 on Fiverr, which is better than I've had.
Shocking.
Last month I had $8.80. So 300 plus 550, 80 plus 40. My week for voiceover alone was 890, 80, and I'm trying to get 1,500. So last week it was the same thing. I had almost $1,000 on the first day of the week, and then I couldn't get much more than that the rest of the week. And then the same happened this week. I had, maybe $500 worth going into the week, and I only made it to 800. So you got to try to figure that out, trying to ride the wave out of that somehow, because it's been a little bit slow. But then I also do editing for Dad. I keep that separate as well, because I want to make sure that people know that I'm not doing, because there's some coaches that do, or people out there that do demo production or coaching or other things that make them money. And I like to keep it separate. I would like to make a full-time living wage on voiceover alone. That's my goal. But I did 12 hours of editing for you this week. So 12 times $20 an hour.
240?
Yeah, 240. So my this week was $1,130.80 with the editing. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to that. I want everything to come from just voiceover. So for me, it's a failure when I don't get up to 1,500 just with voiceover. So anyway, that's how I look at it. That might be a weird way to look at it, but anyway, that's my numbers.
I had one new client this week. Voice1230 again, voices.com. Last week I had $900, voices.com, 0 this week. Upwork, I had one job, $67.50. Fiverr was huge this week. I had 2 big jobs, combined $1,040. One was a 20-second commercial, so that was kind of sweet. And I had 18 jobs on Fiverr for $2,630 on Fiverr.
Wow.
$2,630 on Fiverr. And by the way, John, my oldest son, who runs my Fiverr account, we looked up my numbers for this year, and they're not far from last year.
Really?
Which I was surprised, because I thought I was slower on Fiverr, but I'm about on pace from last year, and I think I made $75,000 on Fiverr last year. And then direct email marketing, I had 22 jobs.
Wow.
And $3,340. Again, I have one client that I picked up about 2 years ago that if I don't get work from them several a week, This week I got 12 jobs at $100 a piece. So they accounted for $1,200.
Oh.
And my total, I'm shooting for $50,000 this year. I'm trying to slow things down a bit, yet keep my business going. The last 4 years, as Hudson said, I've been over 300,000. I'm trying to make 250, and I'm on pace for that right now. This week helps because I'm trying to make 5,000 a week, and I made 6,000.
Nice.
$37.50.
Needed that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yep.
It's good.
So that's my number. This is my numbers.
If you have any other questions about that, or you don't know why it's important for us to do our numbers, or you don't trust us, or you don't believe it, whatever it is, feel free to ask questions. We're an open book, as you can tell. So we're willing to sit down here in the basement in a makeshift studio and tell you about our numbers. So there's maybe something wrong with us. Anyway,
I think that's been
determined
a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we appreciate you guys stopping by and watching. If you're new, if you've been here and you've watched a lot of our videos, we thank you for always being here for us. So hope you had a good week. We'll see you next week for our numbers and our Todd's tips. So take care and have a good weekend.